Hello friends, are you looking out for a budget taxi on your upcoming Ladakh road trip? In the last video of this Ladakh taxi series, you may have got a bit of a shock after knowing the Ladakh taxi prices. Well, rupees 60,000 to 70,000 is a formidable amount considering it is just for taxi. And if you are a family of 4-5 people, well, you are looking for about a 100k budget of our entire Ladakh trip. So is there any way that you can find a cheap or a budget taxi in Ladakh so as to reduce the overall budget of your trip? Well, today in this Express FAQ series on traveling to Ladakh, I'm going to share you with some tips and tricks which can help you in reducing the budget of your taxi in Leh Ladakh road trip. And these tips will be especially valid for routes like Manali Leh Highway and Srinagar Leh Highway. So let's get started. Well, as you saw in the last video, Ladakh taxi rates are quite high, and these taxis are backbone of transportation in the entire Ladakh road trip. And why? Because public transport is not that comfortable, also it is not readily available on your Ladakh trip. Hence, we all look forward to options for finding cheap taxi in Leh Ladakh. Now the question comes, with such high rates of taxi in Ladakh, is it even possible to find a cheap taxi in Ladakh, or it is just a myth? In my last video, I mentioned about that if you hire a private taxi for Manali to Leh journey, then it can easily cost you about rupees 20 to 23,000k, and that too just for a drop from Leh to Manali or Manali to Leh. However, my friend, there is another way out if your luck favors you. Luck? Seriously? Well, yes, here comes the taxi union rules to rescue you. Yes, you heard it right. The taxi union rule has a loophole that you can exploit and get a cheap or budget taxi in Ladakh. Well, you should know that Leh Ladakh Taxi Union and Manali Taxi Union has a rule that Leh registered taxi cannot pick passengers from Manali and Manali registered taxi cannot pick any passengers from Leh. And this is one of the reasons why the taxi prices in Ladakh are so high, because drivers who are going back have to go back empty-handed. Well, practically it does not happen like that, and drivers do find passengers to accompany them on their way return to home. So how to hack this rule? Well, the driver charges the operational cost and fuel cost to take you back from the place where they are not allowed to pick the passengers. Hence, if you get a hold of such driver or a taxi, then Ladakh Taxi can take you back from Manali by paying just the fuel plus the operational cost, and similarly Himachal or Manali Taxi can take you back from Leh at a similar cost. Now the best part is this operational or fuel cost can anywhere range from rupees 15,000 to 16,000 depending upon how you bargain with the taxi driver for these rates. Hence the cost of taxi for whole Leh Manali trip can come down by 40%, which is about rupees 15,000 to 16,000 in total. Well, now my friend, you can easily use all the saved money for your accommodation and food cost in Ladakh. But wait a minute, there must be a catch, right? And you are absolutely right, there is a catch. The toughest part is to find such a deal in both the directions. You may need to have sufficient contacts with both Ladakh taxi drivers as well as Manali taxi drivers who are friendly enough to get you this deal. But realistically speaking, with little ease, you can easily get rupees 6,000 to 8,000 savings on one-way trip. So how do you approach it? Well, when you reach Manali, try to fix a deal with Himachal taxi driver on one side of the journey from Manali to Leh. He will of course ask you about 20 to 22k for a drop to Leh as per the taxi union rates. Now once you settle for one side, tell him about your interest of coming back from Leh to Manali with him only, and then depending upon your Leh Ladakh itinerary, fix the day and deal with him. The driver will probably ask you about rupees 15,000 depending upon the bargaining skills and maybe the entire package. Well, if the driver does not agree, then move on to another one and repeat the entire process until you find the deal. By now you can understand that you may need to explore some options which will take some time. Hence, reaching Manali or Leh taxi stand a day before or early in the morning is highly advisable. Now you know the process and how to hack this rule. Let us look at some of the problems in finding such Ladakh taxi deals. Number 1, ideally the driver coming alone from the other end where he is not allowed to pick up the passengers do this entire journey in a single day. So you should be ready with some tough time with this single day cannonball run between Manali and Leh. Otherwise you can always pay a little bit more and ask him to cover the journey in 2 days. And if you are short on time, then finding such a deal will be a boon to you. Number 2, it might be possible that the day when the driver returns to his native place from Leh or Manali, you may not be ready to return as per your itinerary. Hence, we can synchronize your plan maybe with taxis nearby return date, or ask him to accommodate in his friend's taxi who might be returning on the day when you plan to return. Okay, that was all about Manali Leh highway, but what about Srinagar Leh highway? Well, the same rule applies on Srinagar Leh highway as well, but I have heard many drivers from Leh and Srinagar run their taxis from the other end as shared taxis. So in that case, they charge about rupees 1300 to 1500 per seat for a drop from either Srinagar to Leh or Leh to Srinagar. So it will be a little difficult to find such a deal over there. Hence, I have not mentioned the Srinagar Leh highway explicitly, but I have known people and my friends who have cracked this deal on that highway as well. And who knows, your luck is on the higher side and you crack the deal too. So friends, these were some of the tips how you can reduce the taxi cost in Leh Ladakh. You can check the link in the description of this video where I have mentioned more tips to get in touch with these drivers in Manali and Leh. I have also left a link for contacts of taxi drivers who ply on Srinagar, Ladakh, Manali routes with recommendation and reviews by various DOW community members. You can call these drivers directly and get connected with them. So all I have said so far, yes, it is difficult to find a cheap taxi in Leh Ladakh, but it is indeed possible. People do it or have done it in the past. It just depends upon your luck and how much negotiation skills you have and how much patience you have. And my friend, I'll be pleased to know if one of you finds such a deal and saves some money. Please do share your experience in the comment section of this video. Well, in the next video of this Ladakh taxi series, I'm going to talk about how to get a shared taxi in Ladakh. Now, in the end, if you found this video helpful, please do not forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you need any help or have any questions on your upcoming trip to the Himalayas, please feel free to leave a comment down below and I'll be more than happy to help you out right away. Till then, my friends, Jule, and please keep our Himalayas clean.